Okay, today we have another build day. So we are going to be building stability, especially through the core. So stability comes from the core, the way that we can hold contraction and set in our trunk and torso muscles to control and support stability throughout the rest of the body. I'm going to be using a 20 kilogram kettlebell and an 8 kilogram kettlebell. So about, I guess, 44 and 18-ish pounds roughly. But feel free to grab whatever dumbbells work good for you. This is day number 7. And we are going to be, as far as like the build sessions go for this series, one of the reasons I kind of chose not to do days, but just numbers is so that you can kind of go back and revisit as you would like. So some of our numbers will be building more intensity and some of the numbers will be building more stability or mobility. And so if you come into a session or a day that you're wanting a little bit more intensity or a little bit less, then maybe just have a few of those numbers and what they correlate to as far as what they're building in your head, and you can go back and revisit those freely, and it's not going to mess up your progress. So let's go ahead and get some warm-up going. Stand at the back of your mat and just hinge over your legs. We are going to be sticking with the same leg set that we started with yesterday for the entire week, just to kind of build the legs throughout our whole week. Take a couple deep breaths. Just let the weight of your body pull you forward. Get that stretch through the back of the hamstrings. And then go ahead and try to grab and contract and tuck in through the core around your torso as much as possible. And we're going to round up. So let your arms hang long, tuck your chin, and round all the way up till you're at the very last bit. And then roll your shoulders back and down, pull your head back. Take your right arm, bring it up and slide it over. So then push into the left hip, out to the side, reaching that right arm over. Bring that down, bring your left arm up, push over. Get that stretch along the side, and then bring it back down. Okay, we're going to hinge back over those legs. Again, stay grabbed through the core. Feel that pull on the hamstrings, and then see if you can kind of rock forward onto your toes, back onto your heels, onto the toes, and then back. And then let's go ahead and walk ourselves all the way out and land on our knees. Keep your toes curled under for me. Your knees are going to be right underneath your hips and your shoulders right over your wrists. Inhale and push your chest forward. Slide the shoulder blades down and hold contraction still on the core. This is your cow pose, and then exhale, push into your hands, push into the knees and round. Tuck your tailbone under, and then inhale, push forward. After our back set yesterday, I felt a lot of tension and tightness in my back. Exhale, so I don't know if it's combined with the legs and then a lot of back, but I've been doing a lot of cat-cow, a lot of rolling, kind of got tight down around my sacrum. So always stay in check and take your time to get back into flexibility and fluidity. All right, level off your hips. We're going to let those hips hinge left and right. Big pull to the side, big pull to the side. All right, one more each side, and then we're going to flip over and get going on our first segment of the leg set. So we'll have 20 glute bridges. All right, so lie on your back, set up your feet so that they're right at hip width. Just one set of this leg round. Push your low back into the ground, rest your head. Do whatever you'd like with your hands. When I'm going to legs, I usually like to just hold my arms up and then feel my shoulder blades slide down to engage there and create space between ears and shoulders. So make sure that low back pushes into the ground, grab deep into that core, and then we're going to drive our hips up for 20. Here's 2, 3, focus on that back side of the leg, hamstrings, glutes. And it doesn't need to be super high. In fact, all I really care about as opposed to height is how much grab and focus you can get through those glutes, while also keeping that core going strong. So if you can try to get your low back to connect to the ground as you lower, That would be a really good indicator of how much flexion you have through the core. 11, 12, 13. How much flex can you get into those hamstrings? How much flexion can you keep in the core? 18, 19. At 20, we're going to hold up, keep the hips up, lift your left leg, and you're going to go up and down with your hips again. 10, 9. See if you can get your thighs parallel and keep them level. 5, 4. You're pushing leg. That glute should be on fire. 2, 1. Keep the hips up, and then you're going to lift and lower that leg. 2. If you feel too much pressure on the low back, just keep your hips on the ground. 6, 7. Lock into that core. 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Okay, set your left leg, lift the right, line up your quads, and then drop and lift those hips. Still want to keep flexion through that core. That's how we keep our hips level. 4, 5, 7, 8. How much height can you get without arching the back? 10. Hold the hips, and then drop and lift that leg. Figure out where you can get your flexions. 5, 6, 7, 8. Lock in with that core. And 10. All right, we're going to set our hips down. Let's take a little roll, knees left and right, and then go ahead and rest your head in your hands. Push your low back into the ground. Tuck that chin. You're going to exhale and crunch. Concentrated crunches for 20, 2, 3. What are you doing to make them concentrated and make them focused? We're not just bobbing our chest up and down. We're not just yanking on the neck. We're flexing first, building that initial heat and burn and grab, and then holding even as we lower. See if you can find just a little split-second hold at the top. We need this core contraction, this wake up, hold support for our low back as we go through everything else. 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, tuck those knees in, take a nice little hug, and then we're going to rock and roll our way up. Okay, so I'm going to grab weight for my squats. If you want to go body weight, that's totally up to you. I grab my big kettlebell. We're only doing 10. So I'm going to goblet squat, toes straight ahead. Grab with that core, chest sits nice and tall. 2, 3. Feel the work come from the underneath side of the legs. 6. Sit straight back and down. 8, 9, 10. Okay. 20 jump squats. If you don't jump, just keep your feet on the ground. Not a problem. You can always adjust to what's best and healthy for you. 17, 20. All right. We're going to move into a curtsy lunge. Again, if you want to go body weight, totally fine. I'm going to try to hold my heavy bell here. So if your left leg is forward, shift your right leg back and behind. You still want your shoulders and chest facing forward. And then you're locking in through the core, the lat, and that glute. 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Lots of hinge in that front hip. Drive through the heel. 7, 9, and 10. Other side. Got to use that core and stay flexed through the thighs. Stay balanced. 8, check in, keep it going, and 10. All right. We just have jump lunges, and then we get to move on. Square off those hips. If you don't jump, you just lunge and tuck. You can always shuffle too. 10 each side. Work on your range. 8, 10. Perfect. All right. Whew. Give yourself a little second, and then I'll let you know what's coming. So we're going to work in smaller numbers. We're going to work in sets of 5, and we're really pushing into that stability. So working on core and stability. We're going to start with a squat thrust, which is a burpee without a push-up. Plant your hand, jump back, jump in, jump up. And our main focus here is the core. So this is a core exercise while it's also getting your heart rate up. When you're jumping back, you want to land with a solid plank. So a lot of times I see a jump back and the hips drop. Okay, we want to get that solid plank, feel the core set in. An option is to plant, walk back, walk in, and then lift up. And then another option is to hinge from that core, grabbing deep, reach toward the ground, and then jump from there. But still feel everything start from and work out from the torso, the trunk, the core. From there, I'm going to grab my lighter kettlebell, and you're going to set your stance, heels, hips, shoulders, back and down. So all the back work that we did in our last series, we need to use that and utilize that to flex into the back, and then just draw a halo around our head. Only 5 one way, only 5 the other. All right, then you're going to grab your kettlebell or dumbbell. Either works just fine. You're going to hold up high overhead. If overhead doesn't work for you, feel free to keep the weight on your shoulder. Okay, and then we're going to do a full kneel to stand. So you're going to drop your right leg back if your right arm's holding the weight, then your left leg, bring your right leg up, and then stand. I'm going to do 5 on one side, 5 on the other. You can always go body weight as well. But again, we want to work from the stability of the trunk, the core, and the back. Okay, next we're going to do a pyramid hinge. We did this on our very first build session. So you're going to push your bell or weight, and again, you can be body weight in your right hand. Line your heels up. You're going to rotate and drop just as much as you can. We want to get that full rotation. Open the chest, stack your arms. If your upper arm is falling out, then just don't worry about weight. You got to get that shoulder to stack, rotating in your scapula, collarbone, and shoulder to be able to get those arms to stack up. All right, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. We're going to do a plank pass. I'm going to try my heavy guy here. So if your weight is on the right, you plank. You're going to grab the bell with the opposite arm and then pull across. So we're going to go 5 each direction. Again, it's for stability of the core. If you don't plank, I'm going to have you go into a dead shift. So you grab your bell and you're going to pull it across side to side here. We've done these before, but the idea is just shifting those hips, staying deep into the core and the back. All right, almost there. We're going to do a split leg V up, and then we get to repeat the set. Low back on the ground, Arms go overhead, scoop that belly, reach your hand towards your toe. All right. Our option, other than that, is always that dead bug. Super good exercise. Keep it all going. All right, we're going to start with our squat thrust. Got plenty of time to get through some rounds here. Just 5. Plant those hands. Remember, we're focused on the core. 3, 4, 5. You almost feel weightless because that core is so set in, held strong, and that's what's moving the body through. Okay, set your toes and heels, stand tall, shoulders backing down. We're going to draw our halo. 5 around. Get one elbow down and the other one up. 2. Keep your body super still. 4. Work from the core and the back. 5. Roll it around. Stability. We're here for stability. Kind of keep thinking about what we're here for. Our goal, our purpose, our build today, core, and stability. Good. All right, there's our halo the other direction. Now we're going to get that kneel to stand. So if your right hand holds the weight up, again, grab through that core, drop back, right leg, right leg, stand. Keep that going. Pack into your back. So I can feel my hips wanting to drive or drop, my pelvis drop forward. So I have to super grab core to keep that from happening. 5. All right, other side. Find your back, flex up, left leg back, right, left, right. Think about what's going on with your pelvis, hips. Relax in the neck. Use your back to support the weight. 4, 5. All right, our pyramid hinge is next. Switch back to that right arm. Left leg forward, right leg back. Punch that arm up. Slowly rotate down. Grab through your core and your lat. The back supports. Find the stability through flexion in the legs and the glutes. 4, 5. Other side. Feel stable and balanced. I'm going a little lighter than I think I did last time, but I just want to check in, see that my range of motion is healthy before I start adding in crazy amounts of weight too. Don't worry, we'll come back. Give a chance to get heavier. 4, we're not trying to win any awards today. 5, we're on a journey. Staying consistent, it's just our way of life. Okay, let's see, plank pass and then our V up. We have tomorrow to pick up heavy weight. Okay, set your plank. I'm going to go with a little bit wider base of support with my feet, trying to keep my hips level. 1. So we're just trying to keep that flexion through the back, the trunk, the torso. One more time each way. 5. Perfect. All right, we're going to get our split leg V up or your dead bugs. Feel that low back push into the ground. Arms reach overhead. Here we go. Contract on the way back down. We can build so much work in that eccentric motion, resisting gravity, creating your own resistance. 4, and 5. Perfect. All right, quick child's pose. And then we're going to go straight into our squat thrust or your hinge and jump. Here we go. 5 of everything. Focus on that core. 4, 5. Beautiful. All right, halos. Set your stance. Then we're going to go up and around. 1. Scan the body. Figure out what's going on. 3. Get that one elbow super high. Got my watch. 4, 5. Other way. See if you can feel how your hips are set in space. Make sure they're not too far tucked under or tipping forward, where your shoulders lined up over your hips. And 1. Okay, kneel to stand. I'm going to start on my second side this time. Get that arm up overhead, or remember you can hold at your shoulder. Left arm holds the weight. Left leg goes back. Chest, back, core, hips. It all has a place. 3. If you feel it in the neck, we're not working enough through the back. 5. Recognize what your body's tendencies are. Right arm holds the weight. Right leg goes back first. So my body's tendency is going to be for my hips to jut forward and my back to relax, for my neck to hold the weight. I think we have one more. 5. Even just recognizing how you get your knees around to stand up, that's all mobility, flexibility, range of motion. Okay, pyramid hinge. Weight goes back into your left hand. You can always hold the weight in your bottom hand as well. So keeping your upper arm unweighted and holding the weight in that lower hand. It's always an option to add some resistance, but keep it light on the upper side. 4, belly strong. You don't have to get super deep. Maybe yours looks a little more like this. That's fine. 5. Woohoo! Line it up. Pack it in. Deep internal grab and build today. Keep it going. 3. Don't forget that little twist. Open, grab through the core, the back. 4, 5. All right. That plank pass, or you can do your dead shifts. Keep your shoulders up over the wrists. Take a second, recheck in with your plank if you need. Make sure your butt's not poking up. Make sure that your shoulders staying up over the wrists. 9, 10. Whew, all right. Now we have our split V up. Push that low back into the ground. Reach your arms overhead. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one more set. Take a little twist. 5, squat thrust, and then our halos. Focus. We just have 5 of everything. I want to get our finish. Push the finish, but stay focused. 5. I think sometimes we miss so much of what we can get out of each workout because we get focused on the count or the time, just getting it done. It's better to do less and get it done better. Keep coming back tomorrow. It's a lifelong endeavor, and we're very lucky to be able to keep at it. Other way. 2. Lock in through those thighs, that core. 5. Okay, kneel to stand. Go right arm first. Right leg back. Check the core. Hips stay level. Right knee, right leg, left leg. 3. Channel energy from the core and the glutes. 5. Back, up, 1. Trying to figure out how that pelvis, those hips feel. You can quickly figure out which side is stronger and more stable. 5. All right, pyramid hinge. If your right arm is up, your left leg is forward. Open, and then come back. 3. Stack, grab, contract. 5. Other side. The width of your stance is also super based on you, your preference, your body, how flexible you are, what kind of range of motion you have in those hips. 3. 4. 5. I'm going to redo that one. I lost my arm. There it is. 5. Can't let it fall forward, Kelly. Okay. Plank passes. Flex deep into the core. The heavier your weight, that's when you really feel the back muscles, the lats, have to grab and support as well, which is good. 3. 4. Tuck those hips. Grab the belly. 5. Okay, we have our split V-ups, and then we'll get our stretch on. Push that low back down. Reach, contract, and then lift. Feel the core pulling your upper body up. 3. 4. Especially as you extend overhead, try to get that low back in the ground. 5. Perfect. Woohoo! Okay, before we hit our pigeon, which is our stretch at the end every time, we're gonna go ahead and get our twist, our figure 4 twist. So put your arms out with your palms on the ground, making sure you're lined up is where it's at for this one. So that's our That's our money point. We got to get lined up. Head, then your sternum, your belly button, and then directly between the legs, split evenly down the middle. So go ahead and put your right ankle on top of the left foot. Make sure your left foot doesn't move. So it's going to rock out to the outer edge of that left foot, but your foot doesn't move. A lot of times we end up pulling the foot into the middle. We want to keep it out. So if you're not able to get your right foot all the way on the ground, that's okay. You can find a pillow or something to rest under your left leg. But then you want that knee to push away from the body. Your right knee, it's not folding down to the ground. That's a different stretch. It's for the low back. This is really working on getting our hips and all those little connectors through the low back, but the hips and all the things going on in the pelvis loosened up and lined up. All right, use the core, bring your legs back to middle, reset your feet, check in, make sure you're all lined up. I have this nice beam in my garage. I can kind of tell if I'm set. Okay, now cross your left ankle. Go ahead and push the knee out with your strength. Push the knee out and then start rocking yourself over to the right without your right leg moving. Whew, so this is my super tight side right now. Technically, you're supposed to hold this stretch for a minute each side. So if you have tight hips or low back trouble ever, I would highly recommend hitting this later on in your day. It's good to do in the morning after you've moved a little bit, and then also at night before you go to bed. Okay, grab your core, bring those legs back in. You'll know if you stayed lined up as when you're back to the middle, you still have your midline. All right, rock it and roll it over. We're going to go through a super quick sequence to get us into our pigeon. So tuck your hip under, feel that hip flexor stretch, and then hinge back. Feel your hamstring stretch. You can always go back and redo these stretches a little longer. Cross one foot over, and then drop your hips toward the ground. Remember, we want to stay leveled off in our hips. So you kind of have to pull, if your right leg's forward, you kind of pull your left hip forward. So that you can level off. All right, let's push into the hands, and then you kind of walk your back knee in. Switch your legs around. Left leg comes forward. Tuck the hips under, get that hip flexor. So you tuck and slide without losing your low back. So still hold that core contracted. You can feel, just as you start pushing those hips forward, you can feel that pull on the hip flexor. Toe comes up in the front, hinge over that leg. And then let's cross our foot over. Walk your back leg back. And then settle. So again, I can tell this is my tighter side. I think I can get my hip down eventually, but I'm going to give myself some time. There. Then just enjoy relaxing into the stretch, grabbing some breath, deep ins, deep outs. All right, and then push into your hands and walk your back knee in. Drive your body up. Take one last little forward fold over those legs. Fantastic job, everybody. All right, keep that core going. Remember your stability the rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow.